So what's up, everyone? It is your girl Gel Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and I got another box full of stuff that I'm decluttering. Yes, y'all, I'm trying to get better at decluttering stuff that I don't really like in my collection and don't use. Now, a couple of these things you saw in my worst makeup 2022 video, which will explain why they're being decluttered. Some of the other things I'm just going to talk about and touch on real quick. Let me get I'm starting with something I don't normally start with, which is fragrances. I usually don't declutter fragrances. I'll just like hold on to them and wear them like when I go to sleep or something like that if I don't like them on me for like a long period of time, because when I'm sleeping I'm not going to smell them, but I want to smell nice when I go to bed. As weird as that is, it's just not an everyday scent type thing for me. So I got a couple from Kylie, believe it or not. I know, right? Who am I decluttering Kylie? But I have the Invite Only Amber 23 and the Utopian Vanilla Cocoa 21. I just don't necessarily like the smell of these compared to the other ones I have from Kylie. As you can see, they're my least used one. I showed y'all in videos where I used other ones that I had to buy more during the sale. So like these are the two that are my least favorite. I usually sleep in them, but I'm like, I'm gonna just go ahead and let go of them because I ordered so many more perfumes this year, so it's like I don't need to hold on to these. So you can find these on my Mercari. I always leave my Mercari link down below. So all this declutter stuff you will most likely find on my Mercari. I'll tell you the stuff I'm going to give the family members instead, but most likely it's going. Next, I have these two replica fragrances. So these are replica fragrances I don't like as much. I have, what is this, Music Festival and Beach Walk. I don't really like these two that much. When I use summer fragrances from replica, I use like Underneath the Lemon Tree, like Karen Harris does, because I really like that scent. And then I have like my Burning Cherry and my Eden Apple for my like summer scents that I prefer. So I don't really reach for these that often, and I have other replica scents I just like better that I use a whole lot more. So I figure I shouldn't hoard these. I'm probably gonna do a bundle of these and these for like 40 bucks, because these, like each one of these would be like 32 a piece, and then each one of these would be 25 a piece. So I feel like 30 or 40 bucks for all four of these is good, and you can have a nice little sampler of perfumes to try out. So you can find those on my Mercari. Now, if you all remember, I told you I was going to declutter some of my Pat McGrath blushes, but if you remember, all the shades I'm decluttering I have in like the little palette she's come out with for holiday, or the Bridgerton palette. For example, the shade Cherish here, that's in her the Bridgerton palette that she came out with, the face palette, not the huge baked one, but the face palette. So I don't need this one obviously, because you know I already have it in a different size. And these two are actually in the holiday palette that she just came out with. So this is Electric Bloom and this is Divine Rose. If you saw my video, then you know I have just about every shade of blush she has that works for my skin tone. There's only I think like 2 or 3 that don't work. So this one is Cherish, I believe. Yeah, so this one is Cherish. As you can see, I use my Pat McGrath blushes. These are some of my most used blushes in my collection, because mother just does stuff like no other. So I probably put all 3 of these in a bundle for like maybe 40 or 50 bucks. I feel like that's a decent deal considering I haven't used them that much. And like Divine Rose, I really haven't used that much. You'll see in a second, like I hardly have touched this thing at all. Like, so this one is hardly used as well. I really like the tone of it. It's just, like I said, since I have them in palettes, a lot of times I reach for the palette because I can get the blush and the highlighter in there, and then I just need to grab an individual bronzer. And y'all know when I'm rushing for work, we don't have time for all that. So it's like the face palettes just work better for me. So Electric Bloom looks like it's been used a lot. I actually haven't used it that much. I'm just kind of like messy with the powder, that I don't like clean up the powder. I'll obviously clean it out and spray it before I send it to you if you order this. But I think I'm gonna do about these 3 for like 40 bucks, and I think that's still considering, like, you know, Pat McGrath blushes are usually like what, like $32 a piece, and you get like 3 for 40. So I think that's personally a steal, and I'll hop on that deal. But you know, that's just me. I got a couple more, like 2 or 3 like more face palettes. So I ended up buying this. This is the Natasha Denona Cupid Cheek Duo. I ended up not using it at all. I'm trying to debate if I want to give it to my cousins as a Christmas present, or if I should just sell it to one of you all. So this one I'm on the fence about what I'm going to do with it. But like, as you can see, I never used the cream or the powder in it. So it's not like this product was used at all. It's just one I ended up having in my collection and never got around to using. And since I have so many other ones from Natasha that I actually like, I didn't feel the need to dip into this one. Maybe I should just throw this in a giveaway as a surprise then. The only thing is, since it doesn't have the box, I don't like doing stuff like that, because people might think you used it or something like that. But I guess I could just tell y'all that I didn't use it and just end up throwing it in a box giveaway. So I think this is going to end up in a giveaway. The same with this BH Cosmetics Safari palette. I never use this either. My friend bought it for me for Christmas because I said I liked the color story. But since BH isn't existing anymore, I figured this would be a good giveaway thing. So since it's never been used, as you can see right here, I think it's going to go in a giveaway as well. And I have 2 giveaways going on right now during Christmas time. I don't know when this video is going to go up, but I got 2 giveaways going on right now, so I can throw it in one of those. Perfect, perfect. Next, I have the Michaela X Glam Light Pop 2 highlighter palette. I just wasn't a fan of this highlighter palette. It has quite the glittery shades in it, and even though it has unique fun shades, like I really like this one, this one's okay. The one that works best for my skin tone is the quite glittery one, and I just don't see myself reaching for this. Out of all the stuff in the collection, this is the thing I literally just used in the video and I haven't touched since. And I have individual highlighters like this that have this type of coloring to them, so I'll be most likely to reach for those as opposed to this, and they don't have a glittery formula like this does. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on my Bakerie for someone to get some use out of. Now this one I am on the fence about. This is the Unearthly Cosmetics what is it, Ghoul Light highlighter palette. So this came in that Halloween mystery box that Amanda did, but I don't really use highlighters like this. I think I swatched them and used them in the video one time. I don't think I've reached for this palette since, if I remember correctly. I'm quite sure. I do really like this one, and the purple one, the green one, I'm not that crazy about. But I'm kind of on the fence with this because since it was a limited edition product, and I do review this brand a lot, I'm kind of on the fence if I'm going to get rid of it or not. So with this one, I'm not 100% sure. Y'all know sometimes I have stuff that I say is Will See. I actually have a Will See pile right now, so I'm going to add this to my Will See pile. It's only like 3 or 4 things in it. The other things I'm pretty good and pretty sure I'm going to declutter, like these 2 liquid lipsticks from the collection. I'm just not going to use these liquid lipsticks. I have the shade, what is it, Wicked and Ghoulish. So I basically have the purple one and the green one. Y'all know I used the black one in the video, so obviously I'm not going to sell that one. Plus I like to have a black lipstick around every now and again. You can use fun glitters on top of it. But I have these shades from the Wet n Wild collection that came out a while ago, so I don't feel the need to hold on to these. Plus you know, I figured it could be something that someone else might be interested in. I might end up putting these in the giveaway too because I haven't used them either, instead of selling them. So we'll see how that goes. But you know, this is what it looks like. Again, I have a shade like this that I have that's just a tad bit darker from the Wet n Wild collection. I feel like those would be more affordable, and since these are things that you all can't necessarily get your hands on, I don't want to be out here like using them and showing them, and then you can't get them, and then you mad at me and feel some type of way. Like, I'm not trying to have that happen. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and put these on my Bakerie. And if you are interested in trying these out or trying out their lipstick formula, that'll be a good way for you to try it out. And you can have the limited edition like colors that they have. So next I have this KKW Beauty and Winnie. So this was the collab she did with Winnie Harlow. I like this highlighter, but it's like I have highlighters that are similar to this, and since the brand doesn't exist anymore, I don't feel the need to hold on to this. I'm trying to decide if I want to sell this or if I should just give it to my cousins, because I'm like, who's really buying KKW Beauty when it doesn't exist anymore? But at the same time, this is another maybe I'm thinking about, because I know she said they're supposed to be rebranding and she's supposed to be coming out with the beauty brand again. So I'm like, should I hold on to it and just to see if the highlighter formula is going to be the same, the new as the old? Because I figure you all be interested in my thoughts on it. I don't know, but you can comment down below and tell me if you think I should keep it or not, since she said she's going to come out with more makeup in the future, and then we can try it out. I figured you'd be most concerned about the eyeshadow palette, so not necessarily the face stuff. So that's why I was thinking about just going ahead and decluttering this. So again, this is a chopping block type thing, just because I'm like, I'm not sure. Now, it hurts my soul to do this because this brand just came out, but I really don't like the form of this eyeshadow, and since it was a high cost, I want to try to recoup some of my money back. So this is the Lisa Eldridge Myth eyeshadow palette. If y'all remember, I like the Sorcerer one. I don't like this one. The shades were just too soft and simple on the lid. Again, but the collector in me and the YouTuber in me is like, but you should hold on to it because if she comes up with stuff in the future. But I'm like, it has one of these similar shades that's in here in the Sorcerer palette, and the rest of them are just sparkly, shimmery shades that I'd be more interested in. So even though I love blue and purple, I'm sorry, pink and purple, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this one. So you can definitely catch this one on my Bakerie. I think it'll be like 45, 50 bucks, since this is like a 60 something palette, and I will pay for the shipping on it. So I don't expect you to pay all that, girl, because that's a lot. But yeah, I only used it once for that video. I have not touched it since, just because I wasn't impressed. If you all again saw my worst makeup video, you saw that was in it, because I just wasn't feeling. Another palette that was in it was this ColourPop Shell Shocked palette. Everybody was talking about how horrible this palette was. I remember Angie talking about it being horrible, Karen talking about how horrible it was. It's just the formula on this is very lightly pigmented, and it's like with shades like this, I don't want it to be lightly pigmented. I don't want a wash of mint shades on my lid. Like, this just isn't it. So I'm gonna just give this one to my cousins. I wouldn't sell this to anybody just because I feel like it's not gonna be worth the time. So let me stick it in their bag over here in the corner. I got a couple more eyeshadow things. So I got this ColourPop Jelly Much Shadow from the Star Wars collection. This is the gold one. The one I actually liked actually dried out on me, so I had to throw it away. And this, of course, the one I don't care about, the gold one, is fine. But I'm gonna just go ahead and give this to my cousins too, because I'm like, you know, who wants the Jelly Much Shadow? I don't think I used this one. I think I swatched it maybe. I don't remember putting it on my eyes, but they can just have that one. Merry Christmas to them, honey. And then I have this KVD Beauty single eyeshadow in the shade Iggy. It's just a green single eyeshadow, but I have the green Super Shock shadow now from the Peeps collection, so I don't need to have this in my collection. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this to my cousin too, because this is like super old, and if they dare put it on their eyes, it's their business, but I wouldn't want to sell y'all something that's that type of old, because that's not cool. Let's get into some of these face powders, and then we'll end with the last couple of eyeshadow powders I have. So I have this Born This Way ethereal setting powder. I have the shade Translucent Medium. It's just a yellow powder. The powder works fine. It's nice. It's just more of they're discontinuing this, and I don't need to have discontinued stuff sitting around, because when I use it in the video, and then if you like the way it looks and want to buy it, you can't because it's discontinued. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this. I think I'm gonna give this one to my cousins too, just because I've used it quite a bit, and I don't want to feel like I'm selling y'all something that's like a half done product, so they will get that. They making out in this haul. Like the rest of these powders though, I am gonna most likely sell just because they're like, you know, higher end palettes, like powders like this Dior, what is this? Dior Skin Nude Air Loose powder. I have the shade Medium Beige 30. This was a nice powder. It's just I don't really use it. And I have other beige powders I like more. I wasn't that huge a fan of this powder, and this is discontinued as well, so I'm gonna just go ahead and put it on my Bakerie. I got one other luxury powder I'm gonna stick it with that I feel like will be a good price to put both of them together, so we will do that. Hold on a second. So then I have the Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder. I liked this when it first came out. I'm not saying it's a bad product. It's just a product I don't ever reach for. If y'all know, I'm not really a huge fan of Hourglass. For obvious reasons. I don't feel like they're as inclusive as they could be, and they just started being inclusive recently because the people that they were catering to told them that they needed to. So it's like, as far as I'm concerned, you're pandering. It's not genuine, and I don't want to have a good amount of things in my collection from you. Now I still review the face palettes occasionally just because I know a lot of you still like it, and I try to like accommodate you when I can. So if it's on sale during the Sephora sale and I can get it at a reasonable price, I'll go ahead and do the video for you. Like the new face palette that just came out in 2022 for the holiday, I got it for you all. I reviewed it in spite of me not being a huge fan of Hourglass. So like I'll do it from time to time, but it's like as a general rule, like I'm getting this stuff and then I'm probably gonna most likely get rid of it, or I'll just hold on to it and use it off camera because I'm not trying to promote them by any means. But I'm gonna put this one with the Dior powder online, and you'll have a cute little powder bundle to look into. So I'm gonna put those to the side. Then I got a couple more translucent powders. I don't really use translucent powders that often. One of these powders I am on the fence about though, just because it is supposed to be a really long lasting product, and I have found it to be a pretty long lasting translucent powder, so I might hold on to it. That'll be the Urban Decay All Nighter Translucent Powder. I feel like this does a really good job of hold your makeup for a really long time. The only thing is I don't like to put translucent powders all over my face. I'll occasionally put them underneath my eyes, but I'm not huge on translucent powders. But I feel like this is something I should keep in my collection in case of emergencies, and Urban Decay does really make good powder, so this is another thing that's going to be on the fence. But what's not on the fence is the Dominique Cosmetics Translucent Setting Powder from the Wide Awake collection. I just don't ever reach for this powder, use this powder. It's not to say this is a bad powder, because y'all saw in the video it works for me just fine. I liked it just fine. It's just more of I have so many powders that I don't even think to reach for this one, and I love the brand, but if I'm not reaching for the product, and she's really known for eyeshadows, and that's the majority of the bulk stuff I keep from her brand, I don't feel like I need to keep this, so this one's gonna go on my card. Okay, we got two things left, y'all. We got two things left. So I got this Love Notes palette from Beauty Bay. I was not a fan of the formula of this eyeshadow palette. The color story is gorgeous. Like, look at that. That's definitely a stunning palette and my type of romantic vibes. This was their Valentine's Day palette from 2022. I just was not impressed with the formula on this compared to some other palettes I have from the brand, like their Valentine's palette from 2021. The New Romance was amazing, but this one just was not a hit for me. I heard other YouTubers saying the same thing. I think Karen decluttered hers as well, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me, but I just was not a huge fan of this palette, so I'm going to be letting it go, and you can find it on Bakerie perhaps. I might just give it to my cousins too, because sometimes when things are lower price items, people want you to sell them for much less, and then they want you to pay for shipping too, and I'm like, I ain't got time for all that. So we'll see. The last one I have is the Jaclyn Cosmetics Luxe Legacy palette. So at first, I'll try to give her the benefit of the doubt with her palette, so that's why I bought the Strawberry Fields palette. But I feel like the form of them is the same. So it's like, she said she collabed with her mom on this one. This just gives me vibes of the giant Makeup by Mario palette that they came out with. Makeup by Mario came out with ABH. That's just what this gives me. There's way too many of these shades that I can't use, and then I feel like this is a really ashy and light palette. Then I didn't like the formulation of the eyeshadows in here. The shimmers aren't what it is, and then the mattes just are mediocre at best. So it's like, I was not impressed with this palette at all. I heard a lot of people raving about it and acting like it's the best thing since sliced bread. I must be missing something, because I wasn't impressed with it at all. I want my money back. But, you know, I'm going to just go ahead and put it on my card, and maybe one of you all be interested in trying it, or someone else on my card will be interested in trying it, because I was like, I just wasn't impressed with this one. And the way everybody hyped it up, I'm over here like, oh, okay, it's about to be it, you know, because, you know, Jaclyn does good eye looks or whatever, but it's like, that doesn't mean that the eyeshadow is good just because she does good eye looks. That's all this palette said to me, because I honey. But those are all the things I am taking out of my collection in order to put on line and possibly add to your collection or someone else's collection. So sharing is caring. But those are the things I had to declutter. Like I said, I only got those 3 things on the side that I'm thinking about, so I'll see how those go. If you see them on my card, then you know I changed my mind. If you don't, then you know I changed my mind as far as getting rid of them. But that's all the stuff I had to declutter, which I feel like is a good amount considering I'm a person who doesn't really declutter. But y'all know why I don't declutter. I have lots of eyeshadow palettes. I like to compare and contrast and give y'all lots of different videos on them with lots of different options, especially because of the times we're in right now. So that's why I hoard a lot of my eyeshadow and makeup. Plus I use complexion just about every day, so getting rid of those to me isn't a good idea either. But those are the things I had to get rid of. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.